Hi, I'm SK Delph with the Las Vegas Food and Beverage Professional magazine, and I'm here with Chef Aaron Thomas. And all this beautiful food that you see right here is his creations, and I'm really interested to hear all about your foods and your new menu.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So the menu just recently changed. I can't actually say which direction I'm going with. I can't even say what cuisine I have. It's a bit of mismatch of everything. Obviously, some of the dishes are from when I've travelled. I started off as a chef in France. Started off as a pastry chef.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Lived in Nice in the south of France. Lived in Paris. Then Florence in Tuscany.
Wow.
Then London. And then California.
Oh, look at you.
And now Vegas, yeah. Yeah, so I've been quite blessed.
Very.
Yeah.
Well, I love that.
It's especially, like, it's a completely different world, obviously, being in America compared to back home. There's a whole different world of produce and product and that kind of thing. So, you know, for a chef and his imagination, you can just imagine, like, there's no end, to say the least. Yeah.
Beautiful. So tell me about the plates that you have here. They're so beautiful.
So this one is pretty much inspired from like a Spanish dish when I traveled in Spain. This is a sous vide octopus. It's actually sous vide. Sous vide is like a water bath, so it's sous vide for 24 hours overnight.
Oh, wow.
Then it's charred off in the kitchen, served with Spanish chorizo. Squid ink sauce, which has garlic, onions, and a touch of Espelette pepper, and a touch of orange juice, so it adds a little bit of sweetness to it. And then we have the pickled radish and some carrots to add some earthiness to the dish.
Wow, that sounds amazing. The squid ink, that's something you don't see too often.
People don't use it anymore,
Yeah.
which is surprising. It's one of those things that you can use in anything. Some people actually use it in desserts, which
Wow.
is surprising. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
learn
Right?
something new. That's amazing. How about this plate right over here? This looks really
So this
nice.
one, what
Here,
I've actually
you can swing
yeah.
around a little bit.
What I've actually just implemented, I'm going to be starting to do for VIPs. I'm going to start to do a themed menu for every guest and so it's like a chef's table. The first menu that I wrote, all the dishes are based on Tim Burton movies. So this one is from. It was my take on how I could put the Corpse's Bride onto a plate as far as colours and flavours. The dish is actually supposed to be served with sea bass, but unfortunately our vendor couldn't get it to us in time.
Oh, wow.
So I changed it up and I put salmon on there. Again, I used the squid ink with black rice, just to get that kind of dense risotto. I have umeboshi puree, added a tiny bit of sugar, so it's umeboshi is like, as you know, pickled plums.
Yes.
As you would know, is a pickled plum. Yeah.
Well, you know, I happen to be Japanese,
Yes.
and umeboshi is one of our staples as far as, you know, pickles go.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love
Yeah.
umeboshi. So.
Yeah, so it was nice. I think it might have been, on its own, it would have been too bitter for the dish. So I added quite a bit of sugar to it just to sweeten it up.
Okay.
So with that dish, there's earthiness, there's sweetness, there's the denseness of the rice. Perfect.
Oh, wonderful. And then we have one more plate over here.
So the oysters, that's actually, again, off the Tim Burton. That was actually inspired by the movie Beetlejuice.
Oh,
So can you remember the movie?
maybe
Vaguely,
a little bit.
yeah. So I was trying to see how I could do it without freaking the guests out, because there's a part of the movie where giant worms are coming out of sand. So I actually, like, instead of me buying in a giant worm, I don't know if I can or not.
No.
So I changed it up for oysters. I made edible sand. On the actual menu, they're going to be dehydrated snail chips, which are going to be poached in Tabasco sauce and honey first, and then poached and then dehydrated. So the sand is edible, and again, just to add a little bit of sweetness, I added more of the umeboshi onto that.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And I'm noticing that this is very much seafood, you know, spread here.
I'm trying to change it for the summer.
Okay.
What I've started to notice in Las Vegas is everything is steakhouse this and steakhouse that. So I do have 2 steaks, but I'm trying to add a bit of a lighter fare, trying to add more fish to the menu.
That's wonderful. I think that's great for summertime, and you know, people love seafood.
Yeah.
And this is really beautiful, and
Thank
I'm
you.
just very impressed with that. So tell me, what inspired you to become a chef? It just personally, like what?
Personally,
deepest feelings?
I baked my first pastry when I was 8 years old. I won my first baking contest when I was 10.
Wow.
My grandmother, actually, I was in the kitchen from the age of 8. never left. I decided I wanted to be a chef when I was 11. Never went to culinary school. Just jumped on a train when I was in the UK.
Wow.
Went straight to France and just picked up. I started from the bottom. I started dishwashing. And then I started peeling like £100 of carrots a day.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Most of my background was Michelin star. I worked under some amazing chefs in France and Italy.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah, but then it's especially for taking pride in your food, it does take long, but most people don't want to take 5 hours to have, a 10-course dinner. As I'm exaggerating with the hours, but it takes a long time.
Yes.
And to be honest with you, there's no money in Michelin star. Like, you know what I mean? And you're only limited to how much tweezer work there is and how everything looks on a plate.
Oh,
so I stepped away from that. I done some standard cooking or standard like basic food.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I try and do a mix of both now.
Okay.
So I try, and you'll see it on my menu. I'll have a lobster grilled cheese or an eggs Benedict, all the way up to the finest cuisine you can have, the finest dish you can have.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's so amazing. Oh, that's so beautiful. I feel like being a culinary, artist is an artist. Are you an artist? You're an artist.
I am an artist.
You are.
I like to think so.
Do you do any other type of artwork, or
I don't.
No?
I used to when I was younger.
did you?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
I used to love art as a youngster. I used to be into music, drawing, painting,
nice.
Everything.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Sport overtook it all. I started playing sport at a young age, and that was the end of it. Everything had to be sport.
Sports, sure.
Yeah. And I was actually going to go to college for sports science, which was pulling me away from being a chef.
Oh yeah.
And I think I lasted 5 minutes in college before I was like, I need to cook.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I need. It does get quite intense. I don't know how my wife puts up with it. Most of the time, I have to sleep with a notepad next to the bed. I'll wake up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and I'll write the dish down.
Oh, good for you.
I'll get up like
That's amazing.
It's happened so many times where I forgot my notepad and pen, so I have to walk downstairs into the kitchen at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
But I'll wake up in the morning about 7 o'clock, and I'll just see gibberish. I'll just see loads of words put in different dishes everywhere, and then I got to remember what I was thinking,
Oh my
put it all
gosh.
together, and I'll come in the kitchen and execute it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so great. So to me, that's a mark of a true genius.
Yeah.
When you're sleeping and you wake up with the inspiration and you go right to it,
Yeah.
and you don't waste a moment. You go downstairs.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
amazing.
I feel tired after it, but it's fine.
You literally go down the stairs. That's pretty cool. I'm impressed.
It is. It's been happening. It started happening when I was 21.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
So
and
this
it hasn't stopped.
It hasn't stopped.
Not at all.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Oh,
know.
that's just amazing. Well, I have to say that these are some of the most beautiful plates. Oh, there's a new dish.
They dropped another one.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
Let's talk about it. What
So
is
this
it?
dish, I just wanted to put some kind of grilled cheese on the menu. So in France, you have a sandwich called a croque madame or a croque monsieur. It's usually served on a bloomer, so the slices of bread are a bit bigger. Ham and cheese in the center. Then on top is cheddar cheese, or whichever cheese they choose, Gruyere usually. But they add heavy cream,
Wow.
put it on top, and then they bake it. So the cheese comes over it.
Wow.
So what I actually done is I make a grilled cheese, but it's with lobster, with lime and lemon, with some crab. And then, so we'll do that as a grilled cheese, and then we'll finish it off with a cheese blend on top, and we'll bake it in the oven.
That's just amazing because I love grilled cheese. Who doesn't?
Who
right?
doesn't,
Right?
yeah.
That is like elevated.
I used to love the sandwich, but
So
now we're selling like 400 a day, so I'm kind of sick of it. Kind of sick of looking at it.
Well, this is my first time looking at it, so
Yeah.
I'm impressed and I'm drooling. It's just amazing. This is so great. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
for
much.
your time, and
Appreciate you
thank you
coming.
for showing us your new menu. I'm really excited that Therapy is doing what they're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.